Analysis of Koji Kabuto's evolution in Mazinkaiser. I have been interested in psychology and astrology for a long time, and I wanted to analyze some aspects of several fictional works, including Mazinkaiser, 2001 and 2003. Very interesting on a symbolic level, these OAV convey a fundamental message about the psychological evolution of human beings. Spoilers. In the video, I talk about scenes taken from these OAV. Rights. The text and the pictures taken from these OAV belong to the authors. To carry out the analysis, I use the French subtitles of the DVD from Black Box. I'm French, so I apologize if I make errors in English. The basis of the story, Mazinger Z, 1972. Scientists Juzo Kabuto and Hell have discovered the remains of an ancient civilization in the depths of the island of Bardos. Dr. Hell plans to use these discoveries to conquer the world. To oppose this project, Professor Kabuto devotes himself to the development of photonic energy, and creates the robot Mazinger Z. When he is assassinated by Dr. Hell's men, he entrusts the robot to Koji, one of his grandsons. The contribution of astropsychology. In astrology, Koji's behavior in Mazinger Z suggests a strong influence of planets Mars and Uranus. The attributes of Mars are combativeness, action, energy, resistance, concentration, aggressivity, haste, impulsiveness, courage. Those of Uranus are innovation, ingenuity, originality, uniqueness, eccentricity, rebellion, independence. These attributes are naturally expressed to varying degrees, and in different ways, depending on the individual and the stages of life. A teenager doesn't control them in the same way as an adult, which explains Koji is more calm and adult in the last 10 episodes of Mazinger Z, in Great Mazinger, and in the works in which he is older. About the evolution experienced at a high level. Mars represents the spiritual warrior who fights for justice without seeking personal benefit. Uranus is called the Great Awakener. The Uranian function allows us to individualize ourselves, to accept and present ourselves to others as we are, and to live positively our differences. It is the perfect planet of self-knowledge, awareness, and therefore evolution very well described in Mazinkaiser. Koji and Mazinkaiser. The OAV series begins with a battle between Dr. Hell's mechanical beasts and the two Mazinger Z and Great. Koji and Tetsuya don't have the upper hand. Koji's powder is ejected from Z and disappears, Ashura captures Z. Great is in poor condition and Great Booster takes it back to Professor Yumi's laboratory. Z's powder heads towards a waterfall, goes trough and lands in a cave. Symbolically, the cave hidden by a waterfall is a place of initiation. Koji first walks through a dark tunnel towards a source of light that heralds the revelation. Then, Koji finds himself face to face with a hologram of his grandfather, who tells him about Mazinkaiser.
With Mazinger Z, you have got the power to become a god or a demon, but with Mazinkaiser, young Koji, you can surpass the gods and defeat these demons.
Mazinkaiser is much more powerful than Z and Great. Switching from Z to Mazinkaiser symbolically equates to reaching a new stage in the evolutionary process. The power obtained is such that the pilot can't assume it, because it must be coupled with a high level of consciousness to be properly used. Koji loses consciousness as he pilots the robot. The later one, deprived of a sufficiently high consciousness from the pilot, destroys everything in its path. Professor Yumi warns Koji.
If we believe the results of our tests, the slightest piloting error would cause us to lose control. We think the pilot's body would then suffer serious damage.
In life, we all have to go through stages so that our consciousness can evolve. Depending on each person's needs, and the capacity to understand and integrate the meaning of events or associated feelings, this transition can occur in various ways. In the best case, it leads to an elevation of consciousness and a better understanding of the laws of life. In the worst case, to self-destruction. With all possible intermediaries. First, Koji begins this process of evolution by learning how to use the robot properly, but he will later go much further. In the OAV-6, one of Dr. Hell's mechanical monsters grabs Kaiser, and throws him into the crater of Mount Fuji, what causes a volcanic eruption. Symbolically, fire can take on two aspects. A destructive aspect, often associated with the flames of hell, in which souls, that have failed to complete the necessary steps for their evolution, burn. A purifying and transforming aspect, which allows the psyche to evolve by cleansing itself of the dross of the past. This constitutes a true psychological transformation, more or less important depending on the individual's ability to renounce what no longer exists, and that sometimes allows him to reach a spiritual fulfillment. In the OAV-7, inside the volcano, Koji loses consciousness. All seems lost, but Kaiser uses Kaiserschrander, the wings, for the first time to escape the magma and save his pilot's life. Flying is symbolically linked to spirituality, and therefore to the elevation of consciousness. All this takes place while Koji is unconscious, which puts the emphasis on his submission to this transformation by fire, in which his will doesn't operate. The human mind can indeed not ensure its own evolution through voluntary acts, but life can do it if the psyche is ready. In astrology, it should be noted that the planet Mars is associated with the color red, and the element fire. Later, as Ashura is going to deliver a fatal blow, a dazzling light bursts from Kaiser's heart, and repels the attack. A prophet appears to Koji and reveals the existence of Kaiser's new power. Here is their exchange.
Koji Kabuto.
Who are you?
A spirit who knows the past and can predict the future.
A spirit? What does that have to do with me?
Koji Kabuto, you have evolved. Through many battles, you have overcome great trials, and have become the true pilot of Mazinkaiser.
The true pilot? What does that mean?
Koji, unleash all your power. Rise to the firmament with your supreme will, and unleash the new power of Mazinkaiser.
The new power? What are you talking about? What?
Rise up, Koji Kabuto. If you are really worthy of being the true pilot of Mazinkaiser, then release the seal of Kaiser Blade.
During the revelation, a ball of red and white light surrounds Kaiser, which represents protection. Then Kaiser's heart emits a strong light and Koji pulls a sword from it, Mazinkaiser's new power, a new stage. First picture, the sword is extracted from Mazinkaiser's heart. Second picture, the sword unites heaven and earth. It should be noted that Koji doesn't seek this initiation, he is rather disconcerted by this event. This comes to him because he is ready for that. With this evolution completed, Koji can continue the fight and win. In the OAV of 2003, we find the same type of symbolism. The energy, in red, the color of the planet Mars, Units the pilot's terrestrial and celestial natures when the piloter, which comes from Earth, merges with Mazinkaiser, which comes from the sky. Mazinkaiser and the current time. Mazinkaiser delivers a real message about the need for human beings to evolve. Humanity needs aware individuals more than ever, its future depends on it.